In our first community conversation today, we are joined by Logan Bradley, Harm Reduction Outreach Coordinator with On Our Own. She's sitting down with Aaron.
Logan, thank you for coming in today. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. So we're talking about harm reduction. So why is harm reduction important?
Harm reduction is important because in the United States, there is a death every 5 minutes due to overdose. Harm reduction saves lives. It helps reduce the spread of disease such as AIDS and hepatitis C. It meets people where they are, which means recognizing that not everyone is willing to stop or is able to stop using. So utilizing harm reduction provides support to prevent disease and death in the meantime. It can be a gateway to treatment, and it helps reduce stigma and promotes dignity. It treats substance use as a public health issue rather than a moral failing or criminal act, ensuring people who use drugs are treated with compassion, respect, and social justice.
And what are some examples of harm reduction?
We've got naloxone, which is Narcan distribution, fentanyl and xylazine testing strips, never use alone hotlines that you can call so you can be monitored while using and ensuring help can be sent directly to you if needed. There are syringe service programs where you can get a brand new sterile syringe so people aren't sharing used ones. There are places where you can get sterile equipment such as alcohol swabs, sterile water, filters, tourniquets, cookers, smoking devices. There's MAT, which is medicated assisted treatment, which are medications like methadone, Suboxone that are used to reduce cravings and withdrawal symptoms. There's housing programs that provide stable housing to unhoused individuals without requiring them to be sober, which reduces the immediate dangers of living on the street. Then there's your everyday harm reduction, like having a speed limit, wearing seat belts, using a bike helmet, utilizing sunscreen, designated driver programs, and condom availability.
Very important information there. And how can the community access harm reduction supplies and resources?
We at On Our Own keep harm reduction kits on hand right inside of our front door. You can contact me directly and I would be more than happy to deliver or drop off supplies to you. You can also find us set up at a lot of local and community events. The Virginia Harm Reduction Coalition is another nonprofit organization that provides harm reduction supplies. Region 10 and the Blue Ridge Community Center are great places to go for all local resources. The Beautiful Idea, which is a local bookstore on the downtown mall, they have a syringe service and sterile supplies program. The Haven, the Health Department, Free Clinic, and Charlottesville Public Housing Association are other great resources as well.
Well, I'm glad there's so many resources here in our community. That's really great. So thank you so much, Logan.
Yeah, of course.
It was great having you.
Thank you.
Come back and see us. Steve?